times.
Queers in.
Hi, Harrison. Welcome to Queer Times. I'm Kristen Becker.
And I'm Harrison Fish.
How are you?
I'm really good. It's been so long since we've talked.
It has, because we pre-recorded last time before I went
it's
on
been a
the
couple
road.
weeks.
I am now coming to you from the Lizard Creek Barbecue food trailer in Merritt Island, Florida.
That's my favorite part of this, is that you're in a food truck. I love that.
Why wouldn't I be?
Food truck / recording studio.
I've been surviving on the best barbecue around. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, been a great time.
How has Florida been treating you?
Really good. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that inherent queer guilt where you're like, I don't know, I kind of like it here.
Yeah.
And it's just because I've been like wildly detached from the politics, from everything. I've been on vacation mode. And guess what? Florida's great for that. We found a dog-friendly beach, not a particularly dog-friendly area, we've discovered, for all the nature that there is. And my friend was like, oh, it's because they're all retirees and they're afraid of getting bit, etc. But we did find the one dog-friendly beach, and we've been there a few times, got crisped up good, high dosage of vitamin D, and been doing a little fishing. After this recording, I'm going fishing. I'm running out of days. I have a goal on this vacation. I think I told you this before I left, that I have to catch fish, and then I got to learn how to clean a fish, and that is a lesbian level up.
Oh, totally.
And so that is on my list of things to do today. And then tomorrow we're going to watch maybe a shuttle take off.
You're really diving into this Florida life.
I really am. Well, you know what is crazy? So we're at the Cape Canaveral seashore, and it is not much different than the Cape Cod National Seashore. Like, it's miles and miles and miles and miles of Atlantic Ocean beach, just warmer water. There's a nude beach. The only difference is you can't bring your dog, which is crazy, because if you can be nude, you should be able to bring a dog.
Yeah.
And that the wildlife is manatees, dolphins, and alligators, and not like whales and seals. Like, we saw manatees, we saw a gator, we saw all of it. Maybe that's why there's not so many dogs, because of the gators. But honestly, like, the Merritt Island animal refuge is like 100,000 acres. We went through this amazing nature trail. We've been doing a lot of hiking and a lot of walking around, and just literally the whole trip was about, can we nature out? And it was really, I have to say, on the way down, we stopped in Baltimore and in Greenville, South Carolina. I saw an old friend of mine, Sarah Rose, who used to perform with the Loosen the Bible Belt tour with us and with Dykes of Hazzard in Buffalo, and just kind of reconnecting with my Southern roots, as it were. And I really needed to do that. I joke about it in my set, how, you know, if I'm in one place, I miss the other one too much. But I've been spending a lot of time in Massachusetts because of the program, and I haven't had time to come down here. And I will once again remind you that queers are fucking everywhere. And living out and proud. And we went to some breweries in South Carolina, and we're like, oh, these are all the pink-haired nose ring people. These are our people, right? And I thought about you a lot, actually, on this trip. I was like, ooh, I'm going to tell Harrison that these queers are everywhere and they're doing the best they can. He got to stop hating on the Southerners. I really like it.
I love queer people everywhere.
I know. What really got me, I called you. I left you a voicemail, I think. I was just doing, so KT had to do her stuff, and it was like vacation. I was like, I'm going to go do single boy things. So I was going to go fishing, and I was going to go to the card shop, check out the sports cards. And on my way, I drove past the No Kings protest, and it was fucking jammed, Harrison. Like, it was, and I am in a very conservative part of Florida, and there were a lot of people of all ages out there protesting with some great signs. There were some dinosaur costumes, there were some frog costumes, and for multiple large intersections, there were protests. And I just thought you would love to hear that.
I do love that. Not this past one, but the one before, there was the walkout day, or the nationwide
General
strike that Friday.
Yeah.
I was driving and I passed like an elementary school where all the kids were out protesting, and I was like, maybe we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, there definitely is a swelling of support the more this goes on. It sucks that it's taking this long, but it definitely feels, and I'm also in this really cool place of, you know, this is where Blue Origin is and where SpaceX is and where Cape Canaveral is and NASA and all these things. And something when you have that that many rocket scientists around, like
Yeah.
mixed with this like pretty, I don't want to say rural, but like fishing and Florida rednecky vibe, it creates a really interesting bar conversation.
Mm.
And the other cool thing, I went to a bar the other day and I bought a 5 milligram THC drink.
Ooh.
Yeah. So like in some ways, Florida winning. You
And
can't,
you drank it in the bar.
yeah, they can't put booze into it,
That'd be
but
crazy.
and you can't. I know a secret bar that has a tincture that they will drop it into your actual alcohol drinks illegally, but that's a whole
There we
nother
go.
story.
There we go.
But it's interesting because you can't go to a dispensary recreationally here. You
Mm.
can medicinally, and you can only get a medicinal card if you're a Florida resident. But I'm sure that's because of retirees, right? But you
Mhm.
can go to a store and buy 5 milligram THC drinks
Oh, cool.
and a restaurant. Yeah, apparently you can buy them at the store and at like general restaurants. So that was a nice thing to just have as you're trying to like drink less and kind of still be social and go out, to be at a place where your friends are getting drunk and you can just have a little stoner bevy, a stoner soda, as
Yeah,
it
I
were.
love that. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
opening a what is it called? A consumption space?
Consumption cafe, social consumption cafe.
Yes, they're opening one right by my apartment.
Amazing. Those are
Yeah,
my favorite places.
I just feel like for me, I'm gonna go to experience it and be like, "Okay, never again."
The one that my only experience is from like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, honestly. When I lived in Toronto, there was vapors, there was a place doing it.
Mm,
And you paid 10 or 15 bucks to get in the door. You brought your own weed. They sold no weed
mm.
and they had incredible exhaust systems, and there was a show every hour, and your cover went to pay the performers, and you rented a vaporizer that they would sterilize, or you rented a glass bong from them if you wanted to like have a different experience, and they sold juices and snacks and like just stoner munchy things, but like high quality ones. And people were just all around smoking their own weed, watching different styles of comedy shows.
That sounds amazing.
It's really great. I think you're going to like it more than you think.
Mm.
And people
I'm just
do
not a
get
very being high outside of my apartment type
right,
person.
right, right, right. I am.
Mm.
I am. And it took me a while to get there, but I've learned.
I am more of one than I was a month and a half ago
Nice.
because remember how I was talking about how I was getting 10,000 steps and going for walks? It's more
Stoned.
fun when you're stoned and have headphones on. You're like, "Dee, dee, dee," you're like skipping
I
through Berkeley.
That's how I do all my walking,
Hell
is
yeah.
with headphones. If you see me, I never have not headphones in when I'm
Mm.
out in public doing things. And I'm usually high or
Hell yeah.
medicated, I should say, for
Mm.
anxiety.
Well, that's 24/7 for me.
Correct. My friend gave me great advice. He was like, "If you're gonna smoke weed and you want to be productive, you have to start doing the thing you want to be doing and then smoke." He's like, "If you
100%.
smoke it before you start it, you have a problem. But if you
Yeah.
start and then you take a hit or two, it makes everything better." And that's a fact. I'm about to try out that theory in a little while when I go fishing.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was like I had to hit my piece, walk out the door.
Yeah.
Because if I hit my piece, sat on the couch, within 5 minutes, I'd be scared to walk out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's over then. How have you
Yeah.
been? I just rambled to you about my whole week of
I don't know, that's
adventures.
okay, it's amazing. I mean, I've been really good. I've been watching a lot of college basketball over the last week, and it has been amazing for me.
Yeah, UConn has been crushing. My
Yeah.
LSU ladies, not so much.
LSU is, like, my 2nd favorite team,
I know,
and
I
that
know.
was tough. That was a
I'm
very
going
tough
South
watch.
Carolina now. I'm going South Carolina. Oh, you
Who
want me to
plays
go UConn?
UConn on Friday.
They do. They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're down to the final 4 for both men and women. And there's still one chance for one program to do what I call UConning, which is when they win both men and women in the same year.
And which program is that?
It's UConn. And the reason I call it UConning is because the only program, it's only been done twice, and it's been done twice by UConn.
But talk about the men's winning shot,
Yeah.
which
It was,
even if you're not a sports person, this has come across your feed.
yeah. It was just like, not a buzzer beater, but like final seconds of the game, like a 40-foot 3-pointer from
That
the
was a buzzer
logo.
beater.
There was still time after it. So I guess technically not a buzzer beater, right?
There was time after
Point
it?
0.4 seconds.
Oh, all right. I guess so, but
Sure. Yeah, but let's call it a buzzer. I agree with you. Buzzer beater.
yeah.
And it was incredible. The only thing, I mean, Mullins, who was the player who shot it, love him to death. He's a freshman. He has a really great story. The person who passed it to him was Alex Caravan. And I'm not complaining at all, but I wish it would have been Alex Caravan to take that shot and make it because he is my favorite player on the team. He's so cute. He's a senior.
Okay, I was like, what? And you're like, I just wanted the senior to get the shot because he's cuter?
No. They're both cute, to be honest.
Okay.
But
okay.
he is like, he feels like the heart of the team, I
Mm.
guess. Yeah.
And that's what the heart of the team would do. The heart of the team would get the most important assist.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But
that
I'm
feels
so
right.
excited. This is what UConn does. It's nice to be a UConn fan because you get to see a buzzer beater every few years, and it's amazing.
Did you go to UConn?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
I grew up 15 minutes away from UConn, 15, 20
No,
minutes.
I knew that, but I didn't know that you went to UConn.
Yeah.
This all
I
makes
went
more
to
sense.
I went to UConn. My brother went to UConn. My sister went to UConn. She sent me a video after the game of my nephew. There's a classic UConn. I feel like every school has like their cheers that they do,
Sure.
and UConn has one. And my sister is using this as an opportunity to teach my 2-year-old nephew the UConn cheers.
And could you please give us one right now?
Oh yeah. Well, it's call and repeat. I'll have to teach you.
I'm ready. Here I am.
Well, the first one is UConn, UConn.
Okay.
And then
all right.
the
Great.
other one is UConn Huskies, UConn Huskies, UConn. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We love it. I'm happy for
Yeah.
you. I did think about you as I was watching the games. I was excited for you. I do like KK Arnold. I like Kimora
Oh, yeah.
Arnold. I do have one of her cards. I almost sent you the photo of it today. I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you. I got this numbered KK. We're holding on to it.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite on the UConn team is AZ Fudge. She's the people's princess. She's Paige Becker's girlfriend. She's one of the best basketball shooters of
Paige
all
Beckers
time.
is her girlfriend.
Yeah, they're girlfriends. They're
They're
each other's girlfriends.
That's right.
And I don't want to say most likely, but it is looking like AZ Fudd is going to be the first draft pick in this upcoming WNBA draft.
And who has the first pick?
The Dallas Wings, Paige Becker's team. So there is a pretty good shot that we're going to see Paisy together again on the Dallas Wings in a few months.
Do you think that's good for a team or bad for a team? And is that something that just happens in the WNBA because lesbianism?
Like, yes and no, it does happen. Nalissa Smith and Dejanay Carrington have bounced around from playing on the same team as each other to not
playing on each other.
That too. But they broke up, and now it's a rumor that Dejanay Carrington is dating Jackie Young, who's a star of the Aces, which Dejanay Carrington's ex-girlfriend, Nalissa Smith, is also on.
Why don't we have a Real Housewives
Literally.
of the WNBA yet?
The drama.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. But it's been amazing. I'm excited this weekend coming up. And for gay people, which might be watching our show, if you're a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, there was an episode on All Stars 9, I think, the one that was like the groups that Ginger Minj won, but they did a makeover challenge with 6 women's college basketball players.
Okay.
One of which got paired up with Bosco, who ended up winning by making her over. And his makeover contestant was Lauren Betts, who is the center on UCLA. She's in the Final Four next week. So there is a member of the Drag Race family competing in the Final Four.
Wow, your ultimate crossover.
Oh, worlds colliding, exactly.
All of the worlds have collided.
Yeah. But I'm very much looking forward to that.
I'm going to be watching we're leaving right after the shuttle takes off and heading back. But on the way back, KT and I are because we've been hanging out with friends and, we're not like can spend multiple weeks in hotels rich by any means, but we can drive our car around and stay with our friends who have spare rooms and buy them dinners and stuff. And so that's what we've been doing. But we planned like a little little fun, cute couples getaway on the way back for a few days in St. Augustine, which I'll
Mm.
report back because I hear that it is also a cool, funky little Florida town. I'm just realizing, and I know Florida's politics suck. I'm not saying it's not an oppressive place to be. I've met a lot of queer people here. I understand what they're going through their stories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm also recognizing that when you live at the beach, similar to how we live in P Town, it's really easy to disconnect from the real world in a way that makes you not give a shit. And so I'm just understanding it more now.
Mhm.
I'm understanding how we are where we are in this particular state and why. But I'm also so thankful for the sunshine.
I hear you.
So thankful.
Since we got talking on women's basketball for a second, should we do our QT of the week since it's kind of
Yes.
connected? Okay,
Yes.
let me.
I just found out about this morning and I was just really like, yes, that's how we should be doing more things. And this is what happens when women are in charge.
Yeah, totally. I found out about this. So this is in regards to the WNBA players agreement, the collective bargaining agreement between the players and the league that happened last week. We talked about it on last week's episode. Monumental. This is women's history. This is women's sports history. This is sports history. But
This is game changing for women and girls everywhere when they think about what they want to do with the rest of their life.
Mhm. Exactly. But we didn't find out until after that the WNBA Players Association had a secret weapon, and that secret weapon was Claudia Goldin. She is a Harvard economist and a 2023 Nobel Prize winner. And she is mostly known as one of the forefront opinions and doing research on gender pay gaps. And what she did was amazing. She connected with the WNBA Players Association and advised them for free, which is
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah. And she is one of the biggest reasons that I think they definitely, when you look at what the players are wanting from the beginning, what the league was wanting from the beginning, and what they ended up with, I definitely think the players are the winners. And I think that is a big part to Golden.
I think so. Because you have this thing where people can say, "Oh, we deserve more," and people are like, "Why?" And when someone can come in and quantify all those reasons, and I think it's also why there's, amendments around mental health and around pregnancy. Like there's so many things that someone who studies the gender pay gap would just know to think
Hmm.
of that, I think a lot of times when you've gone without something, you've worked somewhere and you've never had it, it might not occur to you that that should be a thing you should have, right? And
Oh,
so to
yeah.
have somebody come in and say, "Hey, my job is to look at where the difference is here and tell you what you deserve," and having somebody who has a Nobel Peace Prize walk into the room and say that to a bunch of owners seems pretty fail-proof, and obviously it
Right.
was. And more of that, more of, I know it's crazy, but more of doing research and studying and then showing why we should do a thing as opposed to just like, "I felt like it."
Yeah. And I think she definitely zoned in on something that I have been shouting from the rooftops for months, which is, and obviously she is the person who is smart enough to really figure it out. But basically, the NBA, who basically owns the WNBA as well, did a TV deal for the next 10 years. It was $100 billion deal that included the NBA and the WNBA within it. The
Okay.
NBA, the organization then said, the part that is for the WNBA of this $100 billion deal is $2 billion. She looked at this deal with all of her expertise and said, that's bullshit. Of this $100 billion deal that encompasses both the NBA and the WNBA, it is a better representation is $10 billion of what the women's game and the television deal represents. So there's been rumors and conspiracies that the NBA has been doing this across the board to the WNBA, which is undervaluing them, hiding assets, putting their debts onto the WNBA, undervaluing the representation of the WNBA in this gigantic media rights deal. And I'm so glad that she was able to use her expertise to point it out in a real way that actually affected the negotiation process.
Did you I think I saw this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they officially announce that the Sun is moving to Houston?
They did,
And
which
didn't
is
they do
such
that
a bummer.
didn't they do that right around this?
Yeah,
Like,
right after.
I feel like the collective bargaining agreement was the cover, because
Mhm.
they, like, I feel like they just snuck it in, because not a lot of people are talking about it, and it was a huge story prior to this, and I think they were like, "It's now or never. If you're gonna do this, it's now is the time."
Yeah. So
You
basically,
know?
this is a lot of drama, and I'll try to explain it really quickly. Basically, the Connecticut Sun is owned by the Mohegan tribe. It's one of the only there's
We've
not
talked about this before for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, there's not many organizations within the WNBA or the NBA or that is not owned by an NBA affiliate. The Connecticut Sun was able to make their specific franchise profitable over the 30 years they existed, but they now wanted to sell. There was an offer from a Boston-based ownership group. There was an offer from a Hartford-based ownership group that were both $325 million. The WNBA leadership refused to even look at those offers because the WNBA has to approve those offers. They refused to look at those offers because neither of those offers involved an NBA ownership group. And basically, now that the WNBA is making money, they are going to make sure that it is the men who own NBA teams who are able to make money off of these women's programs and
Ugh.
no one else. But I mean, there are politicians in Connecticut that are looking at legality and are thinking about doing an investigation to see if this was legal.
I think they should do an investigation no matter what, even if it can't. I just think it's more transparency is always a good thing.
Hmm.
And it is another situation of a few very wealthy people in a room making decisions for entire communities.
Yeah. And I mean, they announced it during the UConn game, the UConn women's game,
Wow.
which is pretty shitty in my opinion.
Pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Um, all right, cute. What else we got? What's going on?
Have you heard about Chappell Roan and everything going on with her this
I
week?
have not, because I have been at the beach.
No, I love that.
Yeah, this episode is just Harrison telling Kristen what happened.
Yeah, while she was in Florida ignoring the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So Chappell Roan is in the news as of late, and it is a huge online, it has created just like an enormous online debate. So basically, Chappell Roan has been very outspoken about her boundaries when it comes to paparazzi, people interviewing her, her fans. And that has created a lot of conversation around the plight of celebrity, what celebrities deserve, what celebrities should expect, what they deserve. It's been a lot, but this past week there was an incident in Brazil. So
Okay. And
yeah.
I just want to say that I feel like, generally speaking, there was a reckoning in how we treated Britney and how we treated
Mhm,
Paris and Lindsay and in the early 2000s and the aughts of it all, and how we reflected on the way people were interviewed and the way women were spoken to and all of these things. I feel like this was just a reckoning we just had,
mhm,
which one would think that a young woman who, this all happened before she was born, right? Like, learns about this history and then is in the middle of experiencing it. I could see her wanting to establish some boundaries.
exactly. So while Chappell Roan was in Brazil for Lollapalooza, Brazil, she was staying in a hotel in Sao Paulo, and this is all allegedly that it's been told from multiple different people involved, multiple different angles and stories. So apparently, there was an 11-year-old who is the stepdaughter of soccer player Jordino, who
Okay.
recognized basically a Brazilian soccer player. His wife has a child with Jude Law. So this is Jude
Okay.
Law's child. She was with her mother at this hotel, planning on going to Lollapalooza, Brazil, because she's a big Chappell Roan fan.
Okay.
Notices that Chappell Roan is eating breakfast in the hotel. She, if you've ever seen a celebrity, you like make a reason to walk across the room to like
Of course.
see
No,
them.
yes.
So this story is all broken by this child's mother who says this all happens. She says her daughter walks by Chappell Roan's table, back to her table, sits down and is giddy because she saw Chappell Roan. And the mother says that then Chappell Roan's security walked over and said that she was harassing her, said that the child was harassing Chappell Roan
Uh, uh,
and that the girl was left extremely shaken. Obviously,
so
this blew up because her parents have a platform. She's a little like she's connected to celebrity when there's names like Jude Law included and things like that.
Sorry, I'm just like, what a like, yeah, no. Let the kid
Yeah.
walk by you. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
Like,
so Chappell Roan made a statement and she says she never saw a child. She never saw a mother. She never instructed her security guard to approach anyone. Like she's like, she's
oh,
like,
she's
I
like,
just,
oh, that never happened.
well, she's like, I wasn't aware of any of that happening.
So, but did she ask her security guard? Because this is the sort of thing where, like, it's real easy to be like, I didn't see it. But
Right.
and of course there are people who are charged to act on her account,
Yeah.
right? Like
Your security's job is their job is almost to be meaner than you would be, you know?
correct. But probably not to an 11-year-old.
Right. They're
Unless that 11-year-old walked by with a camera.
right.
You know what I mean?
Uh, there has been the idea that it might have been a hotel security person or it might have been chaperone security. But and the thing is like you think about this hotel, this has star soccer player slash Jude Law's daughter staying in it while she's going to Lollapalooza. This has
Right.
Chappell Roan, the headliner of Lollapalooza, staying at it. I imagine this hotel has a reputation to uphold that this is a place where the extremely wealthy and celebrity can come without being bothered.
Right.
So I think it's plausible that it might have been a hotel security person.
So it's very plausible that it could have been a hotel security person that had nothing to do with Chappell Roan, but of course she's going to get all this shit because she's a celebrity and she should expect people to walk by her table. I
Yeah.
guess is yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously has become this huge debate of what celebrities are to expect, what they have to deal with. And for me, it's like I'm on her side. I don't think the idea that you're an artist who wants to make music, you're creating this art, the world has connected with it. And now she has no expectation of privacy or being able to move through the world comfortably because she makes good music that the world connected with.
I sort of agree with that in that I believe there should be privacy. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that somebody can take a photo of you and sell it for $100,000. I think that's crazy. I think if they're gonna do that, argued with photographers about this because I'm like, the subject is as much of the process as your photography is, and that is collective art. You are creating, you are collaborating on art when you take someone's photo, and
Mhm.
so it's not just you're a brilliant photographer. You want to shoot that thing because that thing is offering you something, right?
Right.
And so I guess I feel like Chappell Roan isn't just somebody who wanted to just make music and is good at it and the world connected with it. Chappell Roan is somebody who moved to join an industry that does this. Pursued a career to be you can make a living being a musician touring. When you are actively attempting to reach that level of fame, you have to be aware of what does come with it. And
Mhm.
I think it's crazy I applaud everything she's doing, and I think she should have all the boundaries she wants. And I think that she can affect change in this industry by using her popularity and her connection to the audience to facilitate and cause these dialogues and these discussions around this. But we're not talking about somebody where's she from? Missouri, I think?
Midwest
Kansas?
Princess.
Right. So we're not talking about someone from the Midwest who sells out her local bar and makes 2 grand a week doing her thing and people are harassing her. We're talking about somebody who actively chose to enter a machine that is notorious for being a machine.
Mhm.
And I think it's delusional to not expect there to be some of this.
Yeah, but I also think like Chappell Roan went from playing for nobody to having one of the largest crowds ever singing along to every word of her songs within months.
Why?
Do you think that's because like I guess it's like I guess the dream is I want to be so famous, but I don't know if that is necessarily the dream. You know what
I
I
don't know
mean?
if people realize that's a dream or not, but the minute you
Right.
sign with a label like that, it's pretty clear. I mean, there are people who choose to not sign with those labels because of that.
Mm,
I mean, it's old school, but like Ani DeFranco is a great example of that, of somebody who would have been that famous, but knew that what came with it was not what she wanted in her life.
mm,
And maybe there should be more mentorship around that. And, I think that the ability to build your own empire is diluting that sort of power,
mhm,
right? Where like people can kind of build it. And then we could probably have a big discussion about what if you just got TikTok famous? Well, you wanted to get TikTok famous because you were putting out TikToks because you want the paycheck from that. And I just think that we live in a world where every career has collateral damage. And if you're a coal miner, it's lung cancer. And if you're a cop, it's getting shot at. And if you're a musician, it's paparazzi. Like
yeah,
these are things that come with the gig. And I'm not saying it's necessarily right. And I think we've obviously harassed women notoriously, cost Princess Diana her life. Like, there is an obsession with beauty in our culture, but I think there is, it's not the only career that comes with collateral bullshit. And
mm,
I just think there should be more discussions around that. I like what she's doing. I think
mm.
it's brave to have those boundaries and to say, "Hey, I'm a human being, and you're dehumanizing me by treating me as just an object for your cameras." But I also think that there's just needs to be so much more discussion around all of it.
And I think I agree with you 100%, is that so many people are criticizing Chappell Roan and being like, "What did you expect? You knew this is what it was like. Shut up." And I'm like, she can know that it's what it was gonna be like, and yeah, it's like this for everyone, and she should still be able to say her opinion about it.
Agree. No, she should definitely be
Right.
able to have her boundaries. I just don't know that. I don't know. I feel like I think it's good for everybody that she does. I don't know, man. People are getting bombed and children are starving and, like, I'm struggling with "Oh, you're mad because I took your picture." Like, and I know that, like, I know that there's harassment. I do. I'm conflicted in all of this. And
Hmm.
I'm a little bit mad that we haven't moved beyond it as a society because it did feel like there was a moment of reckoning around this sort of behavior. Do
Yeah.
men get treated this way in the celebrity sphere?
Not as much. I don't think so.
And I think that's more of a problem for me, is
Yeah.
that it seems to be young women, as our culture does. Oh my God. We were driving down a Florida road and we were entering a very rich neighborhood, and there was a flashing light and it says peds have right of way, and it's for pedestrians. But let me tell you that it reads pedophile so
Right.
hard. Sorry, I
Totally.
don't know why I just thought of that. But I've been meaning to tell you this since I saw it. I was like, "Oh my God, Harrison, you're not gonna believe this." And then we entered this, like, gated community. I was like, "Oh, this is
That
where
tracks. This
Epstein's
makes
friends are."
sense. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, no, I think that women should be able to have their privacy, and I also think she was asking for it. No, I'm kid
I do think that there is like a larger point I'd like to make, which is I try to do that. I am a big proponent of this kind of ideology within politics, which is like, I can't stand when people's argument against something is like, but that's the way it is. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, and we can change that. Everything can be changed.
I agree. I agree. Everything can be changed, and using your voice in that way is a step towards changing it and making those changes in the industry. And we always say people say they're the change people, and they get into it, and then they're not because the machine eats them up, right? So
Mm,
I certainly applaud that. I mean, Trump wasn't going to go to war,
right,
right? And then no, now you're in the machine, and the machine says you go to war because that's what the war machine does.
right. And I will say, like, another thing is like, Chappell is so outrageously talented, such an amazing singer, such an incredible songwriter to the point that her songs have taken over the world. She is beautiful. She's an amazing performer. She's creative. But God fucking forbid she isn't nice. Who
Oh yeah, fuck
cares?
that, fuck
Yeah, who
that,
the fuck
fuck that.
cares?
Yeah,
And here's the thing, everyone demands celebrities are nice. People aren't nice. You're not
no,
nice. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying like the people that
I'm
demand
not.
celebrities be nice aren't nice.
No, and there's literally no need for her to be nice to any fucking stranger anywhere, and there's no
Yeah.
need for her to smile, and there's no need for any of that.
You brought up, "Are men treated this way?" And I will say that there was a backlash. The mayor of Rio de Janeiro
Mm,
banned her from performing at a future event in Rio because of this.
that's crazy.
Meanwhile, Chris Brown performs there.
No, that's insane.
It's like women can't even be slightly secondhand mean to a person,
No.
but a man can nearly kill
Punch
one of the
you in the
biggest pop
face.
stars in the world.
Yes.
And if you say like, "Oh, the Rihanna thing, blah, blah, blah," there have been countless incidents involving Chris Brown, violence, domestic violence, anger since then. Countless examples of it, and yet he is
That's
still performing.
insane that they're like, "Oh, you can't perform here." Actually, like, good f she leave. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
other thing. It's
100%
like,
on her side.
I don't think she gives 2 fucks, and she's she's already made her money at this point.
I
Like,
want her to be meaner. Be meaner to everyone.
I I wouldn't mind that. I think that if you're gonna lean into it, but I hope that she truly does give 0 fucks because she probably is a nice person. She's probably Midwest nice, and what she has to do, the armor she has to wear
Mhm.
to go through the fame part is where we end up losing brilliant artists, right? Like is that part becomes too much.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I get into a little conspiracy theory around this?
I'm in Florida, yeah.
Hell yeah.
The birthplace of conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So obviously, Chappell Roan has been in a contentious figure in pop culture over the past few months. And then people are starting to connect the dots as conspiracy theorists do. And you remember at the Grammys when she spoke about how artists are treated, healthcare for artists, things like that.
Mhm.
People are saying that that was kind of the first step of the industry creating this negative buzz around her to get
Yes.
back at her. In February, just a month ago, she announced she was no longer going to be represented by the Wasserman Agency, which is a talent agency, because the
Pedophile shit.
owner, Casey Wasserman, was found in the Epstyles emailing Ghislaine Maxwell. So she is actively pro Palestine, actively against the genocide in Palestine, speaking out about it constantly, left her talent agency run by someone involved with Epstein. And they also just found out that someone did a study and said that roughly 40% of the negative comments about Chappell Roan in regards to this recent Brazil controversy were made by bots.
That's crazy. But it makes total sense. Yeah, and that is I don't think it's a conspiracy anymore. I think it's kind of an understood fact
Yeah, I agree. That's how I'm feeling too.
that the machine does what the machine does. And I mean, just remember the not Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, but there was the
Mm,
Blake Lively, Justin
mhm,
Baldoni thing, right? Where like there's agencies whose job it is to do your reputation bullying for you on the internet and
mhm.
handle it. I mean, I wish she would just go the route of Tucker Carlson, honestly. I wish she would just go on YouTube. I feel like at the end of the day, using that machine to get to a level of notoriety and then tapping out of it and doing everything on your own with your own team makes a lot of sense.
And I feel like I hope she ends up kind of being an artist like Lorde. Lorde released her first album, Royals was this gigantic smash hit. She won Grammys. And now since then, it seems like she releases exactly the album she wants to make. She doesn't care if there are singles on the album.
Yeah,
Her fans love it. It gets a little buzz because she has become a celebrity and she kind of does her own thing. I kind of hope that's where she ends
exactly.
up being.
I think she will. She's smart for that. She's like
Yeah.
smart enough to figure all that out. We believe in you, Chipper. All
Mm.
right, we did it.
I think we did it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go fishing.
Go fishing. I'm gonna go to
I'm
the
gonna
gym.
catch a fish. I'm gonna skin a fish. I'm gonna clean a fish. I'm gonna smoke a fish. And then
Eat fish?
yeah, yeah. And then
Hey,
my survival skills will be up one notch.
hell yeah.
And then I'll be back home by the next time we record, I think. No, 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 no. No, not by the next time we record.
You're like, "I won't be doing that."
Maybe,
No.
maybe, maybe, maybe. We'll
Okay.
see. All
Slay.
right. Love you.
Yeah, clearly. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
We're coming in hot out of vacation.
Hell
Woo!
yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye, y'all.
Queer as in.